everybody, Ben Woodruff here with another falconry video. Today's video is going to be a video about trapping with the ball chatry trap, and it's going to be a fun one to go into a little bit, kind of an introduction. If you haven't already, if you could hit subscribe, it very much helps me keep this channel up and going. Now, trapping in falconry, I know a lot of people watch this channel from all around the world, from countries that have no laws to countries that have excessive laws and everything in between. Make sure, if you're watching this video and trying to learn about a ball chatry trap, that you understand the laws of your region and your country. I live in the United States. We have very strict laws, and we are allowed to trap, and that is strictly regulated as well. And the ball chatry is a trap that is extremely versatile and used for a lot of birds. We'll get into that in a second. But what I want to say is, I've mentioned that I was going to have a lot of trapping videos this season. I've been going out with friends and helping them get birds and getting a lot of trapping footage, but I've been so busy doing that and working my job that I haven't had the chance to put a lot together. So tonight, this video is coming out on Halloween Day, so happy Halloween to everybody if you celebrate Halloween, and this is the first of many trapping videos to come. I wrote a book on trapping. It's called Trapping Essentials. You can get it at Western Sporting Publications online. This gives you a lot more detail than I'm giving in these videos. I illustrate it as well to kind of show you how to do things. But let's get into this. Let's talk about this. The ball chatry trap is essentially some sort of cage or enclosure with nooses on the outside and bait of some kind on the inside. Now, historically speaking, according to the records, the earliest ball chatries we have are out of India, where they were made out of bamboo slats, cut and separated, and then the nooses were made out of horsehair that was braided and made into nooses on the outside, and small birds were put on the inside, and this was used typically to trap a small accipiter hawk called a shikra. And that is the origins, as far as we know, of the ball chatry. Now today, we can make them in all different shapes and sizes. And you have to understand, when it comes to trapping, think of fishing, okay? There are fishermen who just are like I'm going out fishing and I'm going to just put on a hook and a worm and a bobber and there you go. And there's other people who fine-tune and do everything, and they're testing everything, and what's the most effective, like fly fishermen, where it's like, okay, what bait am I using? And I'm moving it, and I'm testing the water, and what's the lighting? And they overthink it. It's true when you are trapping that you don't necessarily have to go to all the trouble of doing all these little things and getting things absolutely right if you're having a lucky day. But if you're not, you're going to wish that you did things right. So I'm going to show you one style ball chatry. This is what I consider to be a pretty standard shape. It's a half circle this way, okay? That's decent size. You can put mice, rats, or gerbils inside. And my door, I'll show how to actually make this, but I have the entire bottom lifts up, as you can see, to make sure we overlap the entrance of the door, and I've taken Gorilla Tape around the edges so when you're putting your hand in and out, you don't cut yourself on the edges of the cut metal. You'll notice that the nooses are standing up. I can't tell you how many people I've tried to help make traps, and they tie their nooses, and the nooses are laying flat. It's pretty hard for a flat noose laying down on the ball chatry to catch into the toe. And by the way, this is one that was used. So these are nooses that I have reset after we had caught some red tails for some people the other day. But the nooses get caught like that. I don't know if you can see that on my finger there, on my thumb. And the bird gets caught. Now, in this trap, I'm not telling you how to make one. I'm just giving you an example. I'll show how to make one in another video. But this is one shape. There are many different shapes, and I go through all the most common and even some of the weird shapes in my book and how and why and what you use them for. But just remember, those nooses need to be up to where when the bird lands and is walking all over it, their foot will actually get caught in it. So the ball chatry trap itself, the idea is that the bait's oblivious, right? A captive bred rat doesn't know what's going on. They're like, oh, hi, friend. They're not getting hurt or anything. And you have some sort of a weight. Some people, when I'll show this in a later video, will have weights built in, or might be as simple as like zip tying a couple of horseshoes to the bottom. Or you can do a drag line, which is what I did with this trap the other day, helping people out, going out trapping, and I had a big giant lead weight, a ball on the end there. But the important thing is just that it's enclosed, The bait can be seen, the hawk goes down, tries to get in, gets his toe caught, and then you jump out of your car and you go and you get them. Now, as far as the coloration, there are people who say color doesn't matter. And I have trapped on just regular metal. If a hawk's hungry enough or a falcon's hungry enough, they'll go down and try to get in. They know there's a cage there, but they'll try to get in, even if it's metal. But a lot of hawks, especially this time of year, are fat, they're well fed, they're suspicious. Black is the best color. That's my claim. I did a lot of experiments years and years and years ago on this, and we had a very big migration one year with tons of red-tailed hawks and rough-legged hawks, and they came in and, I tried both in cold weather without snow and cold weather with snow, and I would take and do setups where I would have 3 traps, all identical in shape, and I'd have a black one, a white one, mimic the snow, and one that was metal. And no matter the conditions, when I did all my stats after the fact, always the black one won out, because black kind of registers as shadow, and so it's easier for them to focus through the cage to whatever rodents you have inside. Now, there are a lot of uses for ball chattery traps. It's not just, a lot of times people think red-tailed hawks, kestrels, a lot of times that's a person's first bird. Go out and get a rat, put it in, and go for it. Go out trapping. But there are so many other situations. So many bird banders will use these, especially like if you're trapping a goshawk in the forest. You can have bait birds inside. There are situations where people will do that in the Arctic, where they'll put like a remote control cat toy with a fake mouse going around in circles inside of the ball chattery to catch snowy owls. The snowy owls are starving. It's insanely cold up there, and they're like, oh, that's got to be a rodent, and they go in and they get caught. I've seen our local aviary has had to use them over the years, where sometimes birds in their flight show have wandered off and have been gone for weeks, and when they track them down, they're spooked and they won't fly down to the fist, and you put a little trap like that out and it's good for catching. So there's all kinds of situations where they can be used, and I want to do other videos talking about setups. How do you present this trap? What shape do you want to do? How big or small should your nooses be based off of, are you going after a falcon, a soaring hawk like a red-tailed hawk, or a forest hawk like a Cooper's hawk? All of these things can be very, very different. But the important thing is just to understand the first introduction, and that is that a ball chattery trap started off in India, and the current ones are typically made out of some sort of metal wiring, like hardware cloth, which is what this is called with the small squares. It's hardware cloth. And you want your nooses big enough that they can stand up and that the birds can get their toes caught in it. So I'm going to have more videos coming up showing more trapping and explaining other traps, but also I want to go much more into depth on how to properly use a ball chattery. And again, I know some of you will watch this, and some of you experienced falconers will be like, wow, that's overkill. You're overthinking it. Just get a square cage and throw a couple nooses on it and you're fine. And again, sometimes you are, but I found I would rather be over-prepared and you have the perfect bird, perfect setup, and you made your trap right, instead of, oh, geez, I wish I had put 5 or 10 more nooses on, or, oh, geez, they're suspicious of it. I wish I had painted it black. That kind of thing. So we'll have more of that coming up, but this is just a first quick little introduction to the ball chattery trap. And let me know any comments or questions, things you would like to know about this type of trap for me to make in the videos I will have in the upcoming weeks. And as always, happy hawking.